I'm right here with Tory Johnson, the expert on careers. We see her every week on Good Morning America. And Tory, we are delighted to have you here in Detroit. Tell me, what's the difference that you've seen in this market?
One of the big differences was when I started planning this event. There's sort of two levels. One is I was terrified that I wasn't going to find any employers that were hiring when I was lobbying the bosses to let us come to Detroit with this event, and they finally said yes. I had a little moment of panic thinking, uh-oh, now I've really got to show up and come up with all the companies to be able to put on this event. So I was pleasantly surprised when I discovered that there are jobs in Michigan, that everything has not come to a total halt. So that was one great surprise and benefit. And then on the side of the attendees, if you listen to the headlines about Michigan, you would tend to think that everybody here is depressed and worn out and beat. And the reality is there's a lot of optimism and a lot of hope. And I talked to many more people here today who were thrilled at the chance to be able to get out of the house and talk to great companies and to sell themselves, and who are very optimistic and hopeful about not only their own future but also the future of their city and state.
I'm so glad you shared that, because I speak as a personal branding coach and helping people reinvent themselves, repackage themselves, that there are opportunities out there, and it starts with this mindset. And
Yeah,
when I hear you speak right now of that same voice, if we can just get that positive energy going,
Sure.
and so where do they go from here?
So, one of the things that I tell people, even in terms of how they think about an event like this, is the real importance of coming with an open mind and a sense of curiosity. Because maybe for the last 5 years, 10 years, 3 years, whatever it is, you've done one thing. That doesn't mean that you have to do that same one thing forever. And so sometimes you come into an event like this and you think there's 3 companies I want to target. But once you're here and you're dressed and you've parked and you're, set, better to talk to everybody. And many times the success stories that I get come from people saying, I almost didn't talk to that company. I would have never thought about that opportunity, but I figured out what the heck. Or I bumped into somebody in the restroom and they told me to do this. And so it's really that sense of curiosity, I think, that drives a lot of the successes that we see. And for many people, the real work begins once they leave an event like this. So the need to follow up, not to wait for the phone to ring. I talked to a lot of people today, hundreds, who have said to me, I made a great contact. She said she's going to call me. And I said, oh, who's she? What's her name? I don't know her name. I said, you go back to that booth and you get a name, because even if someone won't give you a business card, which sometimes is just not realistic with thousands of people here, if you have a first name and a last name, you can track the person down. And so following up and really driving the next steps and not being reactive but being proactive is going to help you get success faster.
Tory, I have to thank you so much for being here and supporting our city. We are delighted to have you here, and your continual inspiration and straight talk about how people can take their gifts that they have, do what they're supposed to do, and get out there and do it.
That's right.
Thank you.
Thank you.